Hello, welcome to the 90-day website mastery podcast, the perfect companion to our 90-day website mastery program and our recently published book, Web Proud. It's our 46th episode. We're excited to bring you even more valuable insights and practical advice to help you enhance your website's performance. Join with us whilst we explore these strategies. We'll have our normal 4 segments in the show. And of course, my co-host Pascal Fintoni is with us. How are you, Pascal?
I'm very well. Listen, I've thoroughly enjoyed the summer break, but it's time to get back into it. And I've looked at the show notes. We've got a really nice episode for everyone today.
It's time to get proud of your website. That's what this is all about, being proud of your website. We've got loads of actionable tips, digital tools. We look at lots of them, and we hopefully help you cut through to find out what you should be doing to make a big difference and to move that dial. So let's move into You Ask, We Answer.
Now, this question actually came about during a recent consultancy session I did with a client, Jonny. So I'm going to paraphrase, but I think as soon as I finish kind of reading out my version of the exchange, you're going to relate to it, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say. So here it is. This is my client talking to me. I have a feeling that my website project is not progressing as it should. So I've asked for a meeting with my web developer. How should I prepare for that meeting? What say you, Jonny Ross?
Oh, very good question. Yeah. And it's worth just quickly mentioning, by the way, we are live. So if you're with us, please do let us know if you've got any questions. Let us know. We're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn. Perhaps you're watching the replay or listening to the podcast. However you're here, we love it that you're here. But yes, thanks for going into this. And so this is a question that you've received from one of your community, and it's such a common thing, isn't it, where website projects sort of just slow down and maybe you just start not hearing as many things from the supplier, or they start saying, bear with us, we'll come back to you, and you starting to hear that phrase a bit too many times. A lot of the time for me, it's about the original brief, and it's about how detailed you go into things and think things through. And just as an example, if you've not got a really properly agreed that sitemap, or really agreed the content plan, and you've got lots of changes throughout, then that can be quite frustrating on both sides, to be perfectly honest. So I think how do you handle any of these conversations? I guess it's recognizing that the project's got stuck a bit, and it's trying to deal with it in a pragmatic way, and not jump in with loads of blame, but just really trying to understand where we're at, because it could be that your supplier actually thinks they're waiting for you, or it could be that that they're struggling to do the next step because they were imagining that they'd have had the content by now, or whatever it might be. So I think sometimes it's just a bit of clarity in it, but it's sort of like, just asking some really simple questions. Where you at? Is there anything that you're waiting from our side? And what are the sort of next steps? And sometimes the best thing to do is actually just to take a huge step back and just talk about what the project's even there to deliver. And I don't just mean it's to deliver a website, but what's the project for? Is this to drive more leads in the business? Is it to start selling e-commerce? Is it because you're building a new website because there's some kind of login area? Is it a brand refresh? What's the purpose of the project? And going into that and discussing that sort of much higher level actually can reset everyone in the room and get everyone sort of back onto the same page in terms of, actually, we need to deliver this by February, don't we, guys? And actually, yeah, these are the issues that are holding us back.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jonny. And that's kind of been my experience. So for a while, actually, I was doing some form of mediation services between web designers and their clients. And you're right, very often you find there isn't a proper brief, or things have changed that don't been recorded, or quite simply, what there's been the situation where the web design agencies actually head down doing the work, but because they head down doing the work, they're not communicating, and then the client's wondering what's going on and so on. And there's a lack of evidence of, so if I may address, for example, the web design community for now, and the vast majority do that very, very well. But regular updates, but also, making sure that when you look at the project plan, Jonny, it's really good to have what I call small victories, because sometimes with a project plan, you have those almighty milestones, a big kind of results and big delivery, which means that there's a gap sometimes that can be a number of weeks with silence on both sides. So I think that for me would be to celebrate all the small victories, but also for you, the client, when you've been asked on a regular basis to reflect on the work done by the agency, you may discover something that you'd not thought of, originally. You may even change your mind. You may actually reduce, the scope through thinking about it now. I won't need that, or I'm far too busy to run this part of the website, originally, and so on. But yeah, so the advice, given to the client, won't surprise you, was to go back to the original paperwork, but to prepare a meeting differently, so that the meetings can't be about a long list of grievances and then essentially saying to the designer, you've done all of that wrong, or you've not done any of that. It's actually more, so this is the original plan. This is what originally you said you would do. Can we go through them one by one? And where are you with that? And do you need extra time? Do you need extra help from me, and so on? Because really it's a partnership work. And whilst it would be good, of course, for someone to stick to the plan, to stick to the deadlines and so on, things happen, life happens. Sometimes there's a discovery about a nuance of the website where you need extra days and so on, but you need to go back as a project director, which is, so therefore, your comment about stepping back is very, very important. And the role you take on at that meeting is as a project director, and you're resetting everybody, even though you're the client paying the bills. I accept that. And that's really, really quite important. And you'll find that actually what you want is for the team, the web design team, to be motivated to work on your project, and if they feel supported, and hopefully that'll work. Because of course, if after that meeting and a week or two would go by and it doesn't work, then you are into something altogether different, which I've explored in a different episode, where you have to move into something a bit more formal, and hopefully won't be the case with this client. So I shall let everybody know, because she's meeting with the advice that you heard from Jonny and I, and I'd like to think that everything is back on track now.
Yeah, and so for me, just to layer on everything that we've just said, the sort of the key takeaways for me would be, this is about relationships. You have to keep the suppliers on your side. They have to feel part of wanting to achieve this for you. So you've got to have good relationships. And I think a lot of it comes down to that brief right at the beginning. The more time you spend on that brief, the more valuable it is. If you run into a web project, and I know that might not help your client right now, but sort of for other people that are thinking about new projects, don't just run into the project and start. Actually go really nth degree on that brief, so that you cover every aspect, and that makes the whole thing more efficient. But keep strong relationships and be realistic about capacity on both sides as well. So yeah, good luck for your client, and if you're thinking about a new web project, work on that brief. Let's move to our next segment, which is website stories.
Now, for this segment of the show, typically Jonny and I choose an article, a podcast, an infographic, a video that will help us imagine and reflect what it's like to be a website manager in today's economy. But today we're going to do something a bit different. We're going to talk about a resource that actually Jonny and I have created after going live on LinkedIn. So as a reminder for everybody, just before the summer break, we went live with, I would say, an enigmatic title for a live session. It was as follows: is your SEO strategy ready for the AI search era? And what we did then was to present 20 SEO actions to make sure that your website content and your website strategy was ready for the AI search era. And what I want to do today, therefore, Jonny, is twofold. Remind everybody that there's an amazing resource out there that they should go and seek out, and the links are in the show notes. But I would like to actually reflect on, I suppose, our journey. Do you recall how we came up with the idea of that particularly special live session, and as a result, creating this resource, this checklist?
I think it was the fast-paced world of search, so and AI. So you had Google's conference shortly prior, putting so much emphasis on AI mode, and rolling out, in inverted commas, AI mode quite significantly, quite fast. And and also backed by so much data showing how few clicks there are coming from the likes of Google search. I think it's something like 34% drop in clicks in the last 12 months coming from blue links in Google search pages, and how the shift is all about being visible in AI, whether that be AI overviews, whether it be in AI responses across any platform. So Google, Bing, or ChatGPT, whatever platform we're talking about. So I think it was it was just how fast paced things had changed. And, we're passionate about this. And having been doing SEO since going back into the 90s, it's like there's a big significant change here, guys. And if you're going to win, if you want to keep winning digitally, then you're going to have to keep up with it. And so I think it was our passion coming out saying, look, this is what's happening, and these are the things you need to start thinking about.
Yeah, yeah, and the timing. I know that we can't be accused of knowing everything that's happening online all the time. But the timing was when, of course, after the conference, the AI summaries appeared with a vengeance. On the AI search, people were all even saying, "Do you know what? I think I'm using ChatGPT or Perplexity a lot more than Google now." You've had all this behavior. I remember actually, I even wrote a little post on LinkedIn, like a reflective post about this idea of it's going to get weird in marketing when we look at our dashboard, where we normally have our matrix, and it could just be a flat line zero because there's no more traffic, there's no more reactions on social media because people are being served AI summaries. So we went ahead and kind of almost inspired by the webinars that we ran when we launched the series of podcasts and so on. We had a structure. We went across. We have three kind of areas we wanted to look at. We were looking at the technical SEO and the impact of AI search. We were looking at content, and we were looking at authority building through links. But what does that mean, and so on. So we have three areas. We then went. We have three kind of actions each that took us to 18. 6 times 3, and we went, we could do with a couple more. So then we invented, but they are good ones. We invented 2 bonuses actions, which took us to 20. Just in case people are wondering how you got to 20, why not 25 or 17. So for me, it was also I enjoyed because I had so many ideas to share with our lovely audience and community and clients. To have that structure of technical content and authority building was very helpful as well.
Yeah. And the thing about this is that it's nothing more than just really good search engine optimization. So it's about using all of those best practices that you've hopefully learned over the many years, and really applying them properly. But thinking about this is nothing more than really good content that's helpful, that's got authority, that sends the right trust signals, and is easy for the user and now the machines to understand. So that is around the tone and the sort of the depth of the content in terms of the language that's being used, but also the structure of the content, so that the engines can really understand what that content is about, and how it relates. So it's structuring the content. It's really good SEO, but taking it up another step. And there's lots of specific points in that deck that we came up with for sure.
Yeah, and within the checklist, you really will see it's all easily achievable. There's nothing really complicated about it. Just being disciplined to go through it. But for me, also, it's about being curious about the behavior of those AI search engine. It could be simply Google. Look at the AI summaries. Look at how they're structured. Look how they function. Think about this as a service to, of course, the searcher. And you will find that there are things in the checklist that we put together for you, the 20 urgent actions that mimic that. So, well, if that's how search is now behaving, let's see if we can bring some of that information into our pages. So, for example, we would say to you within the pack, introduce a too long did not read section at the start of your article. Think about the way now all the AI search engine, if you want to call them that, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, Copilot, they now add follow-up questions. They don't even wait for you, the user. So add some follow-up questions at the bottom of your article. So literally, it's that logical. But it takes time to be observant, to be curious about the behavior of both, of course, the AI search and the AI searchers. And that checklist is going to give you a strong foundation, because I went as far as saying, on the LinkedIn article, that it may well be that this year, stroke next year, is the make or break year for businesses who have been a little hesitant with regard to their content marketing.
Oh, I think for sure you are going to either find businesses are going to just steadily decline in terms of visibility and eyes on, or you're going to find that where businesses are being proactive and really have been owning this for quite a while, they're actually going to really benefit. So I think, yeah, we are at this turning point. And another couple of quick tips would be things like, well, if you're trying to increase visibility in a particular local area, so maybe your customers are all sort of in Yorkshire, for example, then it's just about using some of that language and using some of the towns and cities. I'm not talking about the old-fashioned days of stuffing keywords. That's not where I'm going with this. But at the same time, we've sort of gone to the other end of the scale where we don't even mention our local towns or that we serve very well in these areas, and we need to mention that so that the machine understands, or perhaps you're UK wide or nationwide. So it's about using terminology like that. So it's about and just thinking of ways to add trust signals into the content. So if you've got however many reviews you've got, you've got 100 5-star reviews. Why not mention it in some of your content? Because if you're not mentioning it, you're not helping the engines understand what's going on. So
yeah, no, it's all about the art of being explicit, and we must, make sure people understand you've got to let go of the kind of old adage of, because it's online, it has to be short and succinct, not in the age of AI search and summaries. And what I love about the AI summaries, just to close on that, it's very fair at this moment in time. I mean, a new business who's kind of gone ahead and created content will be part of the AI summaries. You and I will know, and everybody listening will know, if you're a new business or if you're resetting the website, it's impossible now to get yourself on page 1 of Google, nowadays. But those AI summaries, they don't seem to care so much about the longevity of the business. They care about the quality of the content. And I've seen examples of newer businesses who are part of the AI summaries with a link that you can click on if people choose to do so to their website.
Absolutely brilliant. Let's move on to our next segment. Now, this is a segment, and I'll let Pascal explain it more once we get there, but this is all about apps, and we're nearly at our 100th app that we or piece of kit or tech that we're going to recommend. So I think Pascal hadn't realized that either. So we're really close, and I'm sure we'll make a big deal of that in a future episode. Let's move to something that's going to help you practically, the website engine room.
Now, as you heard a moment ago, Jonny and I spend our time testing, breaking apps and software solutions and different pieces of kit to find ways to make life easier for all of us as website managers and content creators. So we usually select one app each. What is your selection for today, Jonny?
Well, I'm really liking this because I've talked a lot about accessibility over the years and how there really is a number of different communities around the world that actually most websites don't serve, and we really need to consider that. Not just because there's a revenue there, but also AI and Google want you to be open to everyone and diverse. Signapse.ai, all of these will be in the show notes. But this is clever. This enables you to translate videos or events or signage and announcements and power AI provided British Sign Language or American Sign Language. So deaf translators that you can instantly put onto videos using the power of AI. And this really does reduce any excuses for people not adding that level of diversity onto your videos. So British Sign Language or American Sign Language, just at the touch of a button, being able to add that to your events or to videos or signage really quickly and easily, all powered by AI, which obviously brings the cost down. So it lowers the entry point. And it's been approved by real deaf translators as well. So Signapse.ai, I would highly recommend, depending on the sector, the industry, the type of thing that you're offering. I would have thought there's a lot of people out there listening that actually this fits, and you should start implementing straight away.
Do you know what's interesting is there are, of course, conversations about AI, and it's essentially it's attack on humanity and so on and so forth, and taking people's jobs away and that kind of things. But for me, and that could be the way in which I use the internet and what I'm interested in, I have found so many examples such as this one where AI is actually connecting people more. It's actually stimulating creativity. It's actually bringing solutions to problems that were either out of reach from a budget point of view, or quite simply, was not possible to access. So I would definitely have a go. Actually, I'm speaking at an event in 2 weeks' time. I might find a way, Jonny, to introduce that in one of my video demos, and I'll let you know how we get on.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning, by the way, just to give this a bit of credibility as well. I'm aware of NHS trusts that are using this on their videos.
Uh,
So I wouldn't say it's been endorsed necessarily, or I don't know if there's any logos being used, but I know because of my connections that this type of product is being used, and you know, yeah, it's really worth looking at.
Thank you very much. So my selection is something that I've had on the list in of potential apps for a while. I wasn't sure about it until really I mentioned a moment ago about observing the behavior of AI platforms like ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, and so on. And you know how you have the interaction with those platforms, and that they offer suggestions. Would you like me to do this for you? Would you like me to do this? Turn this into a PDF or Word document. But more and more now, you have the offer to turn, let's say, the exchange or the output, could be an article, could be a policy, could be an action plan, to convert this into a infographic, a visual representation. It's offered, if you like, which suggests to me that users of those platforms have been asking for it. So my recommendation today is to take the initiative and actually convert, where it's appropriate, your text into a visual summary. And the platform that I've got in mind, it's been on my list for a while, is called Napkin.ai. And it's this idea of you could draw this yourself on a napkin at a conference when someone is talking and you want to take, the essence of what they're saying. We've all done it on the napkin or the post-its or a bit of paper. And the illustrations, they feel very natural and hand drawn, which is actually quite nice. And they have different styles, and they can actually convert quite complex articles or complex notions or strategies and steps and so on. So my recommendation is to try something like Napkin.ai to add a visual interest to your articles, but actually to create also, back to your point, some people may find reading text not their preferred way of learning or not preferred way of remembering. They'd rather look at a visual summary. But of course, if ultimately AI is offering visual summaries, I'm hoping they'll present yours as part of their AI solutions.
You've got me excited about this one, to be perfectly honest, because I'm a really visual person, and it sounds totally up my street. And I'm now, as soon as this podcast finishes, I'm going to try find a couple of articles and run them through Napkin.ai. Like that a lot. So there we go. Two brilliant apps that we've just recommended there to help you as website managers, website owners, implement and start feeling proud of your website. Let's move to our last segment, which of course has to be the call to action, because every piece of content should have a call to action. So our last segment, the website call to action.
So this is about the one change, the one adjustment, Jonny, you should be making right now on your website to support your website experience and help you feel proud of your website again. I'm going to ask you, actually, what is your recommendation?
I'm going to suggest trust badges. So this is nothing new, but so many people are still not doing it. It's a way to even help AI as well. But this is about users seeing something and helping them to convert, helping to increase your conversion rate. So what trust badges can you add to your website? Now, perhaps you're an e-commerce website, and so maybe it's about secure payments. Maybe it's about the certification badges in terms of the security of the website. Or maybe it's about the credibility of the service or the products that you offer. So maybe you're a member of a particular trade association, a members association, maybe you've won awards, maybe you've got accreditations. What trust badges and elements can you bring to your website? And whether that be, I'm not just talking about in the footer, but I'm talking about on that page that converts. So whether that be a service page, whether it be a landing page, a pay-per-click page, whether it be an e-commerce details page, what trust badges can you add? Because I would expect that if you were to all review your websites, there will be badges that you have missed or that you could include, or more importantly, positions where you could insert badges to really help increase that conversion rate. And a small difference in conversion can have a huge, 3 small differences can have a huge difference to the end outcome of your revenue. That would be mine.
Thank you very much. And interestingly, recently a client of mine actually passed a very important exam in their industry. And it was almost like absolutely shattered, and it was like, oh, and thank God for that, it's done. And of course, I was the guy to say, so you're going to put the badge on your website, right? It's like, yeah, I will do it. So we're only human, all of us, and I get it. But take Jonny's advice, spend some time to go for a walk and retell yourself your story, your career path, because there's some badges you've missed for sure, recent and past, but it's all part of it, and it helps you tell a different story. Now it's interesting, we don't really communicate before the show. We just build the show notes, separately. But when I do my workshops and I talk about trust, I have this expression called badges and battle scars. So the badges is what you've just explained a moment ago, Jonny, and battle scars are essentially your case studies, your track records, your kind of examples of previous projects. You've been there and done it. So my call to action is inspired by actually a conversation with a client who's been now a consultant for 30 years. And you can just imagine that the number of case studies he has on his website, the number of examples of previous project is actually quite overwhelming for a first-time visitor. So inspired again by that conversation, I would recommend that you think about organizing your case studies and group them in a way that makes sense to your audience, whether that's to do with their title and position in the organization, whether it's to do with the sector or subsector, whether it's to do with the challenge they're facing, and so on. And it may well be that in a way which you group and organize your case studies, they are present more than once in a website, but you tell the story very, very differently. But this idea of asking the visitor to work out for themselves which case studies they should pay attention to is a big risk for me to someone to go, do you know what, it feels like too much work, I'm out. And they won't take in, of course, the story, and you can be building trust. So have a think of it as you're the first time visitor. Maybe ask a friend, ask someone who doesn't know your business as well as you do, to challenge you and come and go, you know what, those 5 here, they belong to the same family, but those 10 over there, they seem to be very, very different. And think of it as organizing it as you would, I suppose, around themes for blog articles. The same thing, but it's very, very important, because it would be a shame for someone like this client and many others to have a great track record, but it's just too much hard work for someone to work it out.
Yeah. Great point. I was working with someone on a new proposal document yesterday. They hadn't thought about including case studies or testimonials, and these little things can make huge differences. So yeah, definitely add them to your website. That's a call to action that you could do today. What a great episode. Website project delays we've discussed, how to hold your agency to account, but more importantly, work on that brief at the beginning. Work on relationships. You've got to keep them on side. Stand back, focus on the bigger picture. What was it you were trying to achieve? Are you AI ready from an SEO point of view? Are you geo ready? Generative engine optimization. Download our 20 tips ebook that we've put together. You'll find it in the show notes on practical things that you can work on right now, and essential trust builders, and of course the apps that we mentioned as well, how to turn content on, how you draw it on a napkin. I love that. Napkin.ai, and British Sign Language that you can add to your videos. Another great episode. Thank you, Pascal.
You're very welcome, and very much so. And I can't believe it's the end. It seems to have gone so fast.
Listen, that's a wrap for episode 46 of the 90-Day Website Mastery Podcast, your audio companion to the 90-Day Website Mastery Program. For more information, visit 90daymarketingmastery.com, where you can book a discovery call with either myself or Pascal. It's goodbye for now. We'll leave you with a fun video and audio montage to enjoy whilst you review your notes and work on your action steps. Take care. We'll see you all soon. Thanks again.